Welcome back. One of the insidious ties that bind global anti-Semitism unwound this week on the Texas political landscape in a genuinely scandalous way. It happened when the Texas Tribune revealed meetings and apparent collaboration between known white supremacist Nick Fuentes and the leadership of Defend Texas Liberty, an ultra-right-wing super PAC at the core of Attorney General Ken Paxton's impeachment defense, as well as a major donor to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. How major? How about $3 million major? Funds delivered to the leader of the Texas Senate just prior to the Paxton trial for abuse of power. Enter House Speaker Dade Phelan, who said, quote, "This is not a casual misstep. It's indicative of the moral political rot that has been festering in a certain segment of our party for far too long. Anti-Semitism, bigotry, and Hitler apologists should find no sanctuary in the Republican Party," end quote. In response, Patrick not only refused to return the $3 million, he actually demanded Phelan resign, later labeling the Defend Texas Liberty Association with Fuentes as a blunder that won't be repeated by the PAC's billionaire underwriters Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilks. Panel, hostilities between Patrick and Phelan are open, ongoing, and likely to get worse. Agree with that assessment, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't see this calming down anytime soon, but I definitely think the party needs to start to excommunicate these individuals like Nick Fuentes out. I mean, there's no reason that we should be having any association with people like Nick Fuentes and people who think like Nick Fuentes, and we shouldn't be creating an environment for people like that to feel comfortable within the party. And so it is frustrating, and I'm glad to see people speaking out about it. I do think some of the returning of the money is a little performative, but, you know, politicians love performative politics, and it might help during a primary, but we definitely need to start pushing those people out.
You know, Chow, this looks bad, but it also happens on the other side, you know, with Democrats collaborating with people who are borderline, you know, wackos too. And this is worse than wacko. This guy is a stone cold Hitler sympathizer.
So as a feelings teacher, as a therapist, we talk about modeling good behavior for our children, right? And we also talk about what we do affects other communities. When I look at the Republican Party and the fractious ongoing conflict, I really think about how that affects just day-to-day government operations. And so in the world that we work in, you know, advocating for families and children and women and mothers, we want services and we want things delivered. And so when I see things like the Republican Party and all this political infighting, I wonder what the fallout might be for just the normal government day-to-day operations. That's what I'm concerned about.
Paul Castro, when you take meetings with guys like Nick Fuentes, you give him a sense of legitimacy. I mean, how do you take somebody like Defend Texas Liberty serious other than their bank account when they're talking to guys like this and hearing them out?
Oh, it's unbelievable. When you hear what he said, this is not something that's been reported. These are things he's actually said. How to discipline your wife if she behaves disrespectfully. And what he said is, you should take your hand and you should slap her across the face. He said, if it happened to me, I would knock her down to the ground and teach her a lesson. These are things that Fuentes has said openly. He's proud of his behaviors. Anyone who associates with him associates with that mindset. And I think that that's something that everyone who took any money should give it right back.
Final word to you, Gary.
Well, it's certainly, optics are horrible, ridiculous. Fuentes, I guess they didn't know he was a neo-Nazi. I guess that's going to be the excuse. I anticipate Strickland may be losing his job, but these people got to be very careful. And the politicians, and how Dan Patrick explaining what he did and condemn them, and then takes a shot at Phelan as part of it, is part of what Chow talked about. This is just dysfunctional government. I mean, they have a job to do in Austin, and personal attacks don't really help.
We're going to talk more about this in overtime. When we come back,